Hi, everybody. How are you today? Thanks for joining me for this prayerful pause with the pastor when we can think of something greater than ourselves. I ran across a statement. I don't know if I were reading or listening or watching. I'm not sure where it came from, but I wrote it down. And it just struck me, and I've been turning it over and over in my mind several times since then. And it is this: in the bright darkness of faith. In the bright darkness of faith. What does that conjure up for you? Let's work backwards. Faith. Those things that can't be proven, that we trust. Those beliefs that we put our trust in even without proof. It takes some courage. I think faith is a choice, actually. We choose to believe. The darkness of faith. I don't see darkness as a negative quality here. I see it as a gestational one. The darkness of faith could be the womb of faith. Could be the cave that we enter to get in touch with our inner selves, or I don't know, the murkiness even. The murkiness of sorting through things, or the mystery of faith. Things are not clear. They're covered in some way, veiled in some way. The darkness of faith. And then the bright darkness of faith. What is that about? Well, illumination, maybe. Maybe some sort of spotlight on what we're wrestling with. Somebody told me the other day that they told me the phrase of flashlight faith, which I've thought about, but I'd never heard a term for it before. It's where we don't see the long path in front of us. We see a flashlight that's shining one step or maybe two ahead of us, and we step out in that. The flashlight of faith. I like that. But the bright darkness of faith. Is it bright because it's hope-filled? Is it bright because it's illuminated? Is it bright because of insight that we have? This veiled concept of faith. Where do you go with this? The bright darkness of faith. And then perhaps the most important word, in. In the bright darkness of faith. We're not looking at it. It's not over there somewhere. We are in it. We are immersed in it. It is all around us. You know, when I was a kid growing up on the lake, I learned to swim underwater before I learned to swim on top of water, and I just loved it. And to this day, I love just being underwater and feeling that absolute, not just surrounded, but upheld on all sides by water. And I don't know, maybe it's reminiscent of being in the womb. I don't know. The waters of birth, but in the bright darkness of faith. Every one of those words, I think, is important and could be something that, you know, we could think about for a long time. Does our faith allow for us to be immersed in it? Or is it something intellectual that we hold out at arm's length, that we want to analyze, that we want to constantly scrutinize? Can we live in or into our faith? This bright darkness, I just love that juxtaposition, the bright darkness. Does it mean that the darkness is intensified? Is that what bright darkness means? I still don't have any negative feelings about the word darkness. It's like the shadow self. It just is. And the darkness, the bright darkness, illuminated darkness, illuminated veiled, illuminated mystery. Is that what part of this has to deal with? All I know is that I want to be there. Ever since I heard this phrase, I want to be in the bright darkness of faith. I mean, it's easy for those of us, who have held different spiritual practices in our lives to think of darkness and equate it with the dark night of the soul. Was that St. John of the Cross, I think? Things when everything is just falling apart and your faith is absolutely being tested, whether or not you will survive and how you will survive. The dark night of the soul. It feels like it will go on and on forever, and that you will be consumed by it if you don't survive, and yet you don't know how to survive, and you just have to throw up your hands. And I liken it to riding the rapids down, riding an inner tube down the rapids of something. You can't control it, and you pull in your arms and your legs, and you're just riding on that and going wherever the river will take you. Eventually, it will bring you out to the sea, eventually, into the wide open expanse that I think of as God. But we have little control along the way. But darkness, I don't have that association with this. Maybe because of the word bright, in the bright darkness of faith. There is a hopefulness here, isn't there? Probably because of that word bright, or faith. The bright darkness of faith. And then to be in it, not observing it, embracing it, letting it embrace us. In the bright darkness of faith. Let's think about that today, shall we? Thank you for getting me started on this. Or not, because now I'm going to be thinking about it all morning and probably not able to focus on other things as well. Or maybe better. Who knows? At any rate, thanks for joining me for the Prayerful Pause with the Pastor, and I'm Pastor Deb Swift of South Presbyterian Church in Rochester, New York. I hope you have a great day. Be safe, be well. Had my first COVID shot, no appreciable reaction. I'm grateful. I'm grateful to those who have brought this about. I'm grateful to our medical personnel and pharmacy personnel, and I'm really mindful of those 500,000 people and counting who were not able to receive this and save their lives. Let us never forget them. And on that note, I leave you to explore living in the bright darkness of your faith. Okay, everybody. Have a great day. Be safe. Be well. God bless. And bye for now.